Hey everybody, I'm Z Garcia. Welcome back to Board Game Blender. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about games that find it pleasurable to punish the players. Games that throw curveballs at you that you find particularly annoying. Now, that doesn't mean these games are bad. It just means they are punishing by their very nature. And it also does not mean that, like most co-op games that throw these things in your way, it's to be expected, right? Cooperative games are sort of puzzles which throw annoying things at you to keep you off balance in order to force you and the other players playing with you to solve the puzzles presented. These are games that are just mean. They find a way to keep the players from hoarding too much and take your things away, right? They throw curveballs at you for the upcoming rounds and say, oh, you thought you could do this? You can do that this round. Things like that. So, if you enjoy that aspect of games, maybe you'll find a couple of new favorites in this episode. Again, this is not something that I consider to be necessarily something bad. I love games that force me to adapt from round to round, or as the gameplay experience evolves. So, let's kick it off right away. Have a good time. Here we go.
Louder.
Louder.
Louder?
Yeah.
Like that loud?
As loud as it can.
I feel so uncomfortable.
Welcome to Bickering Over Board Games, where we talk about trends in board gaming and how we feel about them. This week we're trying something a little bit different. We are reporting live from SaltCon, which is
live.
Well, it's live. This moment is live. This is a live moment.
As opposed to all the other dead moments we've had.
Okay, so really quickly, so the theme for the Blender this week is games that are punishing and or make you feel like, I don't know, like punished or something.
Yeah.
And you wanted to talk about?
I want to talk about in semi-cooperative games when you are the bad person and you can't tell anybody, and you have to figure out your whole agenda by yourself while also making people think that you are somehow cooperative, which in like Dead of Winter I'm fine with, because when I was finally the betrayer I had like 10 games under my belt. But last year at SaltCon we played New Angeles, and I was the bad guy out of the gates, and I had no idea how to do that. I couldn't ask people's opinions, and it's a really isolating feeling. Same with being the betrayer in Betrayal on the Hill. Yeah.
But that is one of our favorite genres.
Yeah.
And so in terms of trends, I actually feel like there was like a peak moment for the semi-co-op, and I feel like it's kind of dwindling a little bit. New Angeles didn't do very well, although I really like New Angeles. What I wanted to talk about, so I actually wanted to play Battlestar Galactica finally this SaltCon, but we didn't get a chance to. But we did get a chance to play The Gallerist, which was amazing.
So similar.
Well, okay, because I want to talk about heavy Euros and that feeling when you open up a heavy Euro and you're like, although, and this is why I really want to, like, I'm so excited to be, reporting from SaltCon, because we couldn't figure it out. I played it once, like 2 years ago at Origins, and I went to the Eagle Griffin booth, and I got two of the guys over there to come to the gaming hall and spend 45 minutes teaching us how to play The Gallerist, which is why I want to talk about the trend of small board game conventions.
Oh, that's the trend you want to talk about. Okay, surprise!
There's, everyone knows Gen Con and Origins and Essenspiel, but chances are, if you like board games, there is a small board game convention near you.
Yeah, well, on the podcast the other day, they were talking about we didn't know.
This Game is Broken.
This Game is Broken. He brought up a conference, and they said you actually play games there. And I looked at Brett and said that sounds like SaltCon.
Yeah, we've played so many games this weekend.
Yeah.
We've had such good interaction with designers and publishers.
Yeah, we got to play the Tim Fowers cooperative game, which
because Tim Fowers and Ryan Lockhart are both local designers too.
And I would like to say that game was punishing because you were a pilot and you had a bunch of angry customers.
All right, we don't have time to talk about it. So, find a local convention near you and go. You will make friends. We've made so many friends, and you know what's the best part? We get to keep playing with them all year long, and then we have a big reunion. It's amazing, and it really feels like a community. So, SaltCon's great. Local conventions are great.
And
The Gallerist is great.
Is punishing when you have friends.
Hello friends of the Blend, and welcome back to Retro Board Game Corner. Today we're talking about games that might punish you a little bit as you're playing the game. Here I have A Nightmare on Elm Street, published by Victory Games in 1987. This is a 2 to 6 player game in which you're asleep having a nightmare, trying to go through the maze to wake up. First of all, this movie came out when I was 14 years old, and to tell you the truth, I was never really scared at Freddy at all. Let me set this up and show you how it works. This is what the game board will look like set up. First, everybody's going to pick a different color pawn and start it here on the nightmare side of the board. You're going to put the 6 Freddy tokens, Freddy face up, into the boiler room over here. You're going to shuffle the deck of cards, and every player is going to get dealt a player card face down. This just determines turn order. Also, every player is going to get dealt a partner card. This will stay secret for the entire game until the end of the game. In a 2 or 3 player game, you do not play with partner cards. At the start of the game, you're going to flip over a card and put it on the matched card discard pile. Now, each card is going to contain a part of Freddy's rhyme, a special ability, an illustration, a pawn with a movement number, and a triangle with a movement number. Now you're going to get dealt a hand of 3 cards. Now every turn you will draw a card, and the object is to either match the rhyme or the illustration or both. So you look at your hand of cards and you see that you matched just the rhyme. So you're going to play that card in the matched pile and then move your pawn the number that says on the card. Now you can start your move here on any entrance space, and the only thing you cannot do is move diagonally or move through walls. Now if you matched both the rhyme and the illustration at the same time, then you get to take a whole nother turn. In the event that you do not have a match at all, you have to play it in the non-matching discard pile here, and then you have to move any Freddy tokens that are on the board, the space that is in the triangle there. When you draw a card and it's this card, you have to put Freddy on the board. For example, Freddy will land on space B here. So you're going to pick a Freddy token, flip it the other side, and it'll tell you which way this token moves. And then you're just going to follow the black triangle. He's going to move 2 squares. Now Freddy can move up, down, left, and right, and he can even move through walls. If Freddy ever lands on your token, you must go over here to the boiler room. If he just passes your space on the token, you will go over here in the house. Now in each space, every time you play a matched card, you will get 1 step closer to come back into the nightmare side of the board. You can avoid that by playing a bones card, which will remove a Freddy token from the board, or a booby trap, which you can just skip over Freddy. The first player to traverse all the way to the awake side of the board could potentially win the game. Now it's time for the partner to come into play. Say if yellow finished the game, everybody's going to look to see what your partner was. Say if yellow was player 1, so your partner was player 1. So you're going to take the remaining cards in your hand, count up the movement pawns, and whoever has the highest score is the actual winner. You can still win even if you didn't get out of the maze. Now for the Torment part of the game. There is a lot of cards that have Freddy movement. There is not enough cards because Freddy's rhyme is pretty long, so there's very little matches. So you can see how this game can get very torturous because you're always going to keep getting caught wherever you move on the board. Even if you're close to the very end, you got to go all the way back to the nightmare side. That could get very frustrating. Well, that's all the time I have for now. May your rolls be high.
Hi Board Game Blender, this is Chris and Lindsay from Behind the Box, and today we'd like to discuss a board game that punishes its players.
And a really popular way that games punish players is actually to punish the person that's doing really well. So you'll see this in games like Mario Kart, where it's always the players that are behind that get the best power-ups. This is what's known as a catch-up mechanic in the game design industry. This is used so that those players that are doing worse stand a chance. They can actually try and get back into the game. And a board game that we love that does this in a really thematic way is Suburbia.
In Suburbia, the players are competing to build the most attractive suburb that will earn them the highest population. So they'll do this by buying tiles to add to their suburb, which will impact their income and their reputation, and ultimately their population.
And in Suburbia, population is points. So as you play the game, you'll be keeping track of your points on a score tracker. On the score tracker, there'll be these red lines that represent certain point milestones, and whenever you pass over them, your reputation and your income get reduced by 1. In-game, this is meant to represent your community growing, it becoming hard to maintain, and it losing some of its small community charm that it had.
So it's quite punishing because as you progress through the game and your population grows, you'll notice that these red lines get closer and closer together. So as you're becoming more and more successful, your resources are dwindling faster and faster.
This is actually one of the things, though, that we love about Suburbia, because it opens up quite a few different strategies and avenues of play. So you could have one player that just goes for big points. They just try and get as many as they can throughout the game, and they hit these punishments and just take them. Another thing you can do, though, in Suburbia is go for goals. There'll be public goals and then private goals, and whoever achieves them scores really big points at the end of the game when the resources don't matter. So they might see you're just going for big points. So they'll just reach a point on the score track that they're comfortable with and then just wait it out. They'll get these goals and then try and hope at the end that they overtake you and manage to beat you at the end when they don't have to worry about getting punished every single round. So it's it's just a really, really cool way of having these strategies. And we've seen people win using both of those strategies.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments down below whether you've got a game that's a favorite of yours that punishes its players. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
And if you'd like more board game discussions with us, check us out on our own channel and check out our social medias as well and come say hi. But until the next one, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Hello, I'm John from Games for Families.
Hello, and I'm Zach from Games for Families.
And this is Gizmo. Hello. And he is our magic dog. Well, my magic dog. And he has eaten so many games pieces that he has got the supernatural power, as well as barking at everyone that goes past, to tell which of two games is better. So without further ado and barking, let's get on with Gizmo Nose! Gizmo Nose! Hi. This is my stressful game. It's called Enigma. And if you've ever done any of those brain teasers and stuff, this is basically one of those. It is very hands-on, very interactive, loads of fun, and super, super stressful. You will, at some point in this game, draw a card, look at it, and say, how the hell am I supposed to do that? Some of the puzzles are really tricky. You've got to link up pipes and build bird's eye views and measure out stuff with maths. I know, maths. I said it. But it can be really stressful. It can be really fun. If you like puzzles like me, you will really enjoy it, and you will whip everybody else's.
I chose Skull as a stressful game because it's also your opponents will be bluffing at some points in the game because you're basically having to turn over either a plant or a skull, and skulls come in different ways really, same with the plant. So the bluffing way is that you have to try and turn over, or you have to try and bid how much cards you can turn over without getting a skull, and that's where the bluffing comes in, because you want to look at the opponent's face, but not all the time, because you want to just go with your guts inside, and that's why it's a stressful game, because it's should I or should I not.
Come on, Gizmo!
Oh,
In your face! Sucker! Good boy. Yes!
Anyway, that was Gizmo Nose. Thank you for watching me lose horribly. well done for getting this far, and hopefully see you next time. Bye!
Hey everybody, today for Under the Radar, I'm taking a look at an oldie but a goodie, Vegas Showdown. Vegas Showdown here is a game in which all the players are building up their hotel casino. And you do that by bidding on specific rooms, specific parts of your building, and then adding them to your player board. So the game has everything in it. It's got bidding, it's got money management, it's got the geometry of building up this location. It's got a lot of interesting stuff, and it's got events in there at the beginning of every round that you flip over and something's going on in your little building world. We'll get to those in just 1 second because that's where the, hey, take this players and deal with it, it comes in. That's where that is, all right? Now, as far as the game being sort of underappreciated, I understand it's old. It's probably not available very easily anymore. That I couldn't tell you. But it's one that even when it was available, a lot of people did not necessarily seem to love it, to gravitate towards it. I'm not sure why, but I think it's a fantastic game. It's a very good design, and the only strike against it I can think of, or the main one, let's say, is the fact that the production quality here is pretty low. You know, the game has poker chips, which are very low quality, the kind you can find at those big box stores, you know, the real cheap plastic ones. The player mats, the player boards, look like this. So it's just a literal sheet of paper that you put out in front of you to keep track of your building, your money, your population, and everything else just seems a little by the numbers, you know, the graphic design, everything else. However, the gameplay is excellent. And now I want to talk about how a round plays and how these little cards are going to mess with everything you thought you were going to be able to do. So during each round, you are going to make money, and then you are going to bid on a few different items out there. The items are arranged on this central board, and this central board is going to house the different things you can bid on, as well as keeping track of how much they cost on a sliding scale. They'll start at a certain amount, and every round they're not purchased, then that price is going to be to drop. It's going to continue dropping until players finally start bidding on it. And you can outbid each other on a place, but if you are outbid, you must take your marker that you bid with and move elsewhere. You have to go elsewhere. You can also go up here to publicity and just get a straight up victory point without having to bid on anything that round. And you can also renovate up here, which allows you to move around what you've built and shape it in a more pleasant manner, in a more useful manner. So that's what you're doing on that central board. However, every now and then one of these cards is going to be a negative effect. And so, for example, this one, the lounge builders are on strike and players cannot bid on the lounges and the fancy lounges. That's bad if you were hoping to get one of those this round because you had the perfect spot for it. You can do it. You have over here, rise in demand. If you've been waiting, gathering your money, you know exactly what you're able to shoot for this round. And then this card comes up. It says, well, you know what? The minimum bid marker for each premier tile goes to the next higher space. You suddenly don't have the money, quote unquote, that you thought you had. And that can really throw a monkey wrench into your plans. Now, yes, I'm not saying this is a take that game because it affects everyone equally, but every now and then the game just, it gets you right where you were hoping to go, and it hits home, you know. We've got over here PR scandal. The players cannot take publicity this round. And so if you were hoping to just skip the bidding war, just go and grab one victory point, save your money, well, you can't do that anymore. That point's not available to you. We've got over here to outbid another player this turn. The player must outbid him or her by at least 2 spaces on the bidding track. Nasty. So if you show up somewhere early, people are really going to have to pay out the nose to outbid you there. I like that too. And then lastly, the meanest card of all, taxes. Oof, taxes. Each player collects half his or her usual income this turn, rounded down. They couldn't even round up for you. So again, if you're hoping to, you know how much money you're going to be getting, you know what you're going for, what you're going to be bidding on, and then you suddenly only make half your money, that's gonna hurt. So, having said all that, though, this is a really fun game. I absolutely recommend it. Vegas Showdown, if you can find it, certainly give it a shot. Fun bidding game, fun theme, great action, great interaction between the players. That's it for me. Vegas Showdown, under the radar. I'll see you next time.
Hey everyone, my name is Chris, and this is the Teacher's Lounge. Now, if you're like me, occasionally you may have to record in your backup studio, which surely is not just your very brown-looking bedroom in this shot, because, you know, maybe your living room is dirty after traveling for a convention and having a sick kid, so this'll do. But also, if you're like me, you probably teach a lot of board games to your friends and to your family. So, the Teacher's Lounge is a place where we share teaching recommendations and ideas so that we can make a more enjoyable teaching experience for everyone at the table. Today's game that fills people with torment and lament is New York Slice by Jeffrey Allers and Bezier Games. Now, Chris, how can a game themed around pizza, the most wonderful circular device ever invented on the green earth, cause torment and lament? Now, rest assured, I love pizza more than most people. And I don't mean that more than most people love pizza. I love pizza more than I love most people. But this game has an excellent mechanism a lot of people call I split, you choose. A pizza is made up of 11 different slices that have to be split into different chunks equal to the number of players. In a 4-player game, I, as the slicer, on my turn, would have to split this into 4 different chunks. But then the trick is that everybody else at the table gets to pick before I do, leaving me with whatever is unchosen. Meaning I need to slice this pie into the best possible configuration that's pretty fair and has a good chance of leaving me with what I want. Now, there's a few tricks to this, right? Each slice is numbered from 3 up to 11, and if you have the most slices with the number 4 on it, then you score 4 points at the end of the game. If you have the most slices with the number 11 on it, you score 11 slices at the end of the game. So you want to try and get majorities. There's a few other nuances to the game, but it is definitely agonizing sitting there saying, should I put these two 11s together? Or should I put, you know, multiple things together like this, right? How do I need to do this so that I still get something good after everyone else has picked? Throw on top of that a few extra additions like these slices that show anchovies on them, which are worth negative points at the end of the game, very thematically. So there's a lot to have to balance in this very approachable and fun game. But really, the essence of it is very simple. So my teaching recommendation when I teach this game to people is that typically I'll pull an Ed Sheeran. I'll be thinking out loud. That's literally the only Ed Sheeran song that I know, so I'm gonna milk it for what it's worth. So thinking out loud means going through the process. Hey, I'm going to go first, right? I'm going to split the pie like this, maybe. Maybe it's too powerful if I leave these 11s together. Should I shift and slide some things around? What's going to make this chunk here with the big negative 0.1 worth enough? And there's a lot to think about, especially because there's also a daily special that gets added, and that can make for a special power. Whoever gets that chunk gets this power. So there's a lot to think about in this game, and there's a lot to think out loud so that other people start to get the nuance of the strategy. You know, do I put this on like a single slice that makes this power really enticing? You know, because maybe there's a strong thing, but you only get one slice. I like doing that. Now, if you're playing with more experienced people, they might not want you to do that. So you could ask when you start teaching, hey, do you want me to kind of, walk through my thoughts out loud? And some people might say, oh, no, I just want to pick it up on my own. I don't want your ideas in case maybe you're not that smart, because you might not be. You probably are. You're fine. But some people might say, oh, I would appreciate if you kind of helped walk through the process so I understand how to do this when it's my turn to be the slicer. You play, depending on the number of players, if you're playing 5 players, you play 5 rounds, 6 players, 6 rounds. So that's really good, and it helps people learn it so that they have a fun time with the first time they play this. This is a very fun game. I love the presentation. the scoring pad looks like a little receipt pad. The rule book is a menu. I mean, I had a friend when I said, hey, tonight we're going to play a game. He looked at me and he said, very funny, Chris. He literally thought this was a pizza box. So this is an awesome game, tons of fun, and so I recommend that you check it out. That's my teaching recommendation for the day. Let me know if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, or additional teaching recommendations that you would suggest. I'll be responding in the comments below under the name Meeple Overboard, the podcast that my wife and I do together. So go check us out there. Enjoy the rest of the blender today and have a great one. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Ben.
And I'm Tommy.
And we're talking board games.
And today on Blender we are looking at games that punish you. And this one doesn't stop punishing.
Just
if
constant.
you've played.
Yeah. No.
So, do you want to go first? Or should
Yes, let us
consider the comments.
So, this comment regarding In the Year of the Dragon comes from none other than Friendless.
Ooh, sorry.
Right? Yeah. Anyways, Friendless rated this game a 2, according to BGG.
Not bad, not bad.
And his comment reads, I'd rather be sick than play this game. If this was the first board game I played, I'd be a stamp collector instead. Frustrating, boring, annoying waste of time. Friendless.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's not the same guy that did the last one, is it?
No.
He doesn't quite hate it.
Unless he has multiple BGG accounts.
It's possible.
It's,
you know, try to win some of those BGG contests.
Oh, yeah. That'll increase your odds.
That's right.
Anyways, for those who don't like stamp collecting, there's In the Year of the Dragon.
It's true. Yeah, if you've tried stamp collecting and don't like it, try In the Year of the Dragon.
You may like this one.
This guy rated it an 8.5.
Respectable.
This is Enavico. I said that wrong.
Surely.
Obviously. Such a mean and punishing game. Easy, fast, but deep. Super balanced. Thematic AF. I mean as Feld. What were you thinking? Artwork and materials are not the best.
Thematic as Feld.
It's not the best 8.5 review I've ever seen, but
hey, he likes it.
He likes it, yeah. I rated it an 8.5.
Anyways, In the Year of the Dragon is a interesting Feld game.
It is thematic as Feld gets.
Yes, no, definitely. If you've played Notre Dame, very similar concept where there's bad things happening throughout the game, and you're just trying to minimize their effects to you. Essentially, you're running some Chinese dynasty, and there's like all these horrific events, plagues and stuff, and taxes, and every round there's something bad that happens. And you just have to try and minimize how badly they affect you.
Yeah, this is how least bad do I want things to hurt me. This is like, take all of the bad things that happen in all of Feld's game and just make those each round.
Forget about feeding your people, folks. If you thought that was stressful.
It's like the people that attack you in Bruges, that'll be round 1. The pirates that attack you in Amerigo, that'll be round 2.
Plague from Notre Dame, that's coming round 4. Be ready for it. No,
it is cool that you know like what's coming.
It is. The whole game is laid out round around. You see what's happening and you can kind of plan. It's kind of cool. But anyways, it's action selection as you're kind of going around the table.
Really
Turn order
game.
Is based on
timing.
Yeah, the timing is super intense.
It's like any other. I don't remember turn order. Is it based on every other Feld game where it's like whoever's furthest along?
You have a track that But being first on that track gives you turn order. But to have gotten there, you've probably given up on some other stuff.
Right.
But then the hand management, it's a great game. The 10th anniversary edition comes with the added expansions that were hard to find before. So if you see it and you want to have an agonizing night of Chinese dynasty building, check it out.
It's not at all what you're going to feel like.
No.
But it's a good game.
Great game.
Yeah. As always, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. All of the Dice Tower is the word I was looking for.
Well, what channel is this? What?
I don't know.
Blender, huh?
Blender, what? And then, of course, head over to all the contributors as well, including ours, and go show them some love as well. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Life of a Board Gamer. My name is Daniel and today we are going to talk about the game where Queen demands from you that you bring her all kinds of delicious food and she still punishes you because it's not the food she wants at the moment, even though it's a great food. This game comes with a really gorgeous big map, and as you can see, this map only has 20 points in a plus and it has 60 points in a minus. So basically you will play this game and try to be the one with the less minus points, and you will have these little pixies to go around the village and steal food from villagers for the queen. And queen will still punish you. Why? Who knows? She's angry. Where's my food? I need food. All this delicious food is represented by great wooden components. You have honey pots, you have bread component, and there's apples. Of course, there's a bunch of cubes that represent gold and silver and some ore that you will mine in your mine. There's also components to track your score and where your workers are and what are they doing. And if you have small plushy raccoons, raccoons can also steal food. Bring me apples. I want apples. No, I changed my mind. I want lemons. Nah, too yellow. Bring me bananas. They're not that yellow. Thank you. You can go now. No, stay. You still didn't bring me from the first time. You know the punishment. You will also have these shields that you will use to hide what kinds of food you have and how much from other pixies, because you want to be the best with the queen and you don't want others to go ahead of you and have some extra apples that you don't have. And there's also a bunch of different cardboard components. Stop the violence. We forbid it, because we are the gang, the Iron Gang. And there are also rulebooks in 4 different languages, depending which one you understand. I understand only English one. And remember, kids, violence is never the answer.
Watch the wrinkle.
Oh, wrinkle. Thanks.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Corner Chat. I'm here with Chaz Marler from Paradise. And where are we at?
We are in Reno at Gamma.
It's amazing. And we're literally filming this the couple days before it goes live on Blender.
Good luck.
That's right. So we're talking about games that Torment and Lament.
Yeah.
And so tell us about some of your stories of games that are so brutal to you that you cannot block them from your memory.
Well, you know, there's always, of course, the games that I've picked up at thrift stores.
Yes,
you know,
we got to talk about some of those.
Yeah, those are like the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, but still, those are valid games, I think, for this.
Yeah, there's a game based on the Where's the Beef ad campaign from the 80s I picked up with you at Origins
That's
last year.
right.
Yeah, and that one is basically you move around this Wendy's restaurant collecting hamburgers and such, and then making your way behind the counter for some reason. But it's basically a roll and move around.
So is there a good...
It's a roll and wander game, really, is what it is.
So is there a roll and move game that isn't a punishing game?
That isn't punishing.
Yes.
Well, you know, there are some roll and move games that I find really rewarding.
Yes.
One that always surprises me when people mention it is like Zaya.
Yeah,
that's actually
it's in my top 10 games easily.
Me too. Yeah, and
absolutely.
It's like, you think about it, that actually is at its heart.
It's kind of roll and move. Yeah. I mean, literally, there's tons of stuff you can do in that game, but you still have to move your ship to whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So I don't know if I would call Zaya necessarily punishing unless you
blindly roll into the next sector, which happens to be the sun.
Yeah, which I think we could both speak from experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've never done that. No.
But as we were kind of researching this and talking beforehand to find the most punishing game, I think we both came up with one. The same one.
The same one. I think it's unanimously.
I think so. And it would have to go to Robo Rally.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. Now I enjoy programming games.
Yes, me too.
I enjoy Volt. Robo Arena.
Emerson's game is great.
Yeah, but Robo Rally, I have mentioned before that I find Robo Rally, personally speaking, it's a brilliant design. I love it, but I find it as enjoyable to play as eating a wet sandwich in a gas station bathroom.
That is awesome. I wouldn't go quite that far because I've had some fun games, but it is punishing.
Oh boy,
and I've seen multiple times people around the table are miserable. Because, well, especially for like my wife, she sits here and her robot's just spinning. You're like, well, you should have played those cards differently. So, but yeah, it's definitely, oh my gosh, it's right up there.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a plan, and it can not only just go wrong, it can just be, it gets to the point when I played it, I stopped kind of trying at it.
Right.
And I got the same results.
Yeah, right. I've done that experiment too where I'm like, I'm just going to randomize the cards and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I've had almost the same results from planning it out.
And if that's not punishing, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's a pretty harsh one.
Yes.
Do you have any other thrift store games that really just are like, oh man?
Well, my daughter and I recently played a game that we got at the thrift store called Stampin', which is the quote, enter the exciting world of stamp collecting.
Oh my gosh.
Sponsored by the U.S. Postal Service.
Do you know what year this was made?
No.
Okay.
My eyes were bleeding too much to make that out. But that was punishing because that had kind of the roll and move aspect with set collection. So you had to collect certain sets of cards, but you could only get those cards if you landed, by luck, on the right space on the board to get them.
And you kept trying, you kept missing it every time, right?
Yeah. So the only stamping we got out of that game was when I was smashing it. Whoosh it in the bin.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
any others? Well, we got to at least give a nod to some of the co-ops because obviously those are the low-hanging fruit for this type of game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And for me, Grizzled.
Oh my goodness. Now see, that is a game, yes, super punishing, but also can be super rewarding.
Exactly.
And I think you have to have that balance.
You do, you really do. And I think there's a lot of co-op games that are like that. But I think the unique thing that we were looking for was just that a competitive game that feels punishing all the time, where it's not a player punishing you, but the game is punishing you.
Yes, and I think that's harder to find because a co-op game, it is the game that's making it difficult. Non-co-op, it's the other people are what's going to make you miserable. But I think we both agreed that Robo Rally is a competitive game that still the game can make you miserable.
It still makes you miserable. It really does.
So kudos to Robo Rally for that achievement.
Thanks. Great. Well, Chaz, so tell us what's new, what's coming on your channel. What are you doing lately? What's up?
Oh, well, one thing that's new and coming up is I have a series called Table Scraps that I do, where I do 10 to 15 minute discussions. You joined me for a couple
I did. It was really fun.
Yeah. The next one, it's been on a little bit of a hiatus.
Okay.
Well, I've caught up on some other videos, which I still need to catch up on. But I'm going to launch a new set of recording sessions in April. And so if I post them on my YouTube channel, the Pair of Dice Paradise YouTube channel, I kind of schedule them ahead of time, about a week out, so people can kind of see. So keep an eye out in early April for a new slew of Table Scraps live chat recording sessions.
Awesome.
And I'd be happy to have you join me.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be really fun. I had a good time. Had you over to our studio.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was really fun. So, and now we're both on the Dice Tower studio.
I know. I think it's great. Neither of us are in our home state, and we're in someone else's studio.
It's pretty fun. So this has been great. Thanks for being on the show again.
Thank you for having me.
As always. And until next time, we'll see you at the table.
At the corner table.
The corner, yeah.
The corner. I never get that
right. Later, folks.
And that's going to do it for us on this episode. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. A big thanks to all my contributors, of course, for their wonderful segments. And I hope to see you again in a couple of weeks for our next Board Game Blender episode. As always, thank you. And hey, do not forget, stay a friend of the blend. I'll see you next time.